Thank you and good morning, Sam. Indeed, where I am right now is Lodwar, 2 hours drive from Lokichar, where the oil fields are located. Now, why am I here? This is the location where leaders from Turkana County, led by Cabinet Secretary in charge of Petroleum, John Munyes, led the leaders here to a meeting yesterday. Their aim was to resolve some of the underlying issues that had led to the standoff between the local community in Lokichar and the government. Remember, the issues about sharing revenue. The issues are many, but quite a number of them are clear. But what I can tell you right now, Sam, is that the meeting yesterday was fruitless, and actually they never came to a conclusion. I remember the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Interior, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, was expected to tour Turkana County following the standoff, but the meeting I hear is not, or his travel to Turkana County was cancelled off and is not in his itinerary. So from what I understand is, given that the local leaders here have failed to get an understanding and reach an agreement over how best to solve the issue. So as we speak right now, the standoff persists, and the locals, as you've seen in my story there, in Lokichar, they are holding grounds. They maintain that nothing or no single drop of oil will be transported from Lokichar to Mombasa County, where it is expected to be shipped out of the country for processing before the viability of or the commercial viability of the crude oil can be established, so that full production of oil from Lokichar can begin. So as we speak, Sam, the standoff is still there. The meeting yesterday was fruitless, as I told you earlier, and now we're still expecting to hear a lot from leaders who are in the meeting to tell us the way forward and actually what they are thinking, because this is a national resource where the government now has their eyes focused. And remember, if you've heard from James Lomenen, the Member of Parliament for Turkana South, he's been clear. He says that actually the reason why there is a standoff is that the people of Turkana want the government to turn, or members of the government, the executive, to turn their attention to one of the most important area now in the country where the oil fields are located, that is Lokichar. So they say that insecurity has been rampant there. They say that when you look at the last few days, and especially after President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off, they say that a day after the president flagged off the transportation of oil from Lokichar to Mombasa County, an attack took place in a neighboring village just in Turkana East constituency, and they say that actually that is a clear indication that the government isn't interested much in the people of Turkana County. They say that the government is like somehow reneging on the promises it made to the people of Turkana County. One of the promises was ensure the security and the development of the area. Actually, one of the underlying issue is about development, Sam. They say that it's clear that the government, since oil was discovered in Turkana many years ago, close to 5-6 years ago, they say that they haven't seen much from the government. They haven't seen much from those involved in the drilling or in the discovery of oil to ensure that actually the region now feels at home in the country. They say, as I told you in my story, they say that they have failed for quite a long time to be second-rate citizens. Then they say that the discovery of oil was to change that picture. Now they are seeing that the situation as it is now has remained same, and the promises that was made to the community are yet to come by. So Sam, as I told you earlier, the standoff is still here.
Enoch, just before you carry on, we see James Lomenen, the Member of Parliament for Turkana South, talking about a security situation. First of all, maybe you can help us as well as the viewers to understand how much of that security threat it is and who is threatening that security.
Now they're saying that members of the community in Turkana South. Now let me give you where Turkana South and Turkana East are located. Turkana South and Turkana East are the areas that are neighboring Samburu and West Pokot counties and Baringo counties. So they said that there have been in recent times, and especially after the discovery of oil, they say that attacks in that region have escalated. They have increased, and they're saying that the government hasn't done much to ensure that the issue of insecurity is addressed. As I told you earlier, they claim that immediately after the president flagged off the transportation of oil from Lokichar to Mombasa County, they said that an attack occurred, and actually they mentioned 2 attacks in Turkana East and Turkana South, where they said that the neighboring communities attacked them and took away livestock, and actually members of the community were killed and some were injured during the attacks. So they claim that this is a clear sign that even though that the government is only interested in what lies beneath the soils of Turkana County and not above the soils, above the soils being the people, but under the or beneath the soils of Turkana County being the oils that, or the oil that is found in Turkana County. They say, you know, this is a rich county when it comes to minerals. Remember, it's not just oil that was discovered in Turkana. I remember there was an underground water that was discovered in Turkana North, quite a number of kilometers from where I'm standing right now. And so they are saying that yes, the only thing that the government is interested in is what lies under the ground, that is water and oil. And they're saying that until the government reverses that trend and now gets interested in what lies above the ground, which are the people of Turkana County, then they will also be interested in what the government plans or what the government wants to achieve in Turkana County. And for now, they say that their move to block the transportation of crude oil is not ill or doesn't have any intention. They say that the oil is still secure in the oil fields. Remember, it's Ngamia 8, there is Ngamia 1, there are Twiga 1. There are places where oils are stored, and remember there's Kapese where there is an airstrip. They say that the transportation of oil from those oil storage facilities will only take place once the government reverses their feeling or its feeling about Turkana County. So from your question, the issue of security is paramount in this. They say that once that is addressed, then they will see that the Turkana people will be very much accommodative and will be much supporting the government's move to ensure that the discovery of oil then enriches not just Turkana County but the entire country. Sam.
Well, Enoch, just a few minutes ago you were being joined by a guest from the host community, but talking about, we heard from some of the people that you spoke to yesterday saying that they want to see the resources that have been allocated to the host community to come to trickle down to them directly, because you said yes, 75% remains to the national government, 20% goes to the county government, but then 5% goes to the host community. But we also know, Enoch, that the commercialization process will not begin until as early as 2022. So you're talking about 4 years from now. Do the communities there understand this, and are they just looking for something, for some benefit that is not yet accruing?
Now look at it, Sam. When you look at the entire story, the entire clip we played, they are talking about several issues. There are issues they are saying that there must be tangible on the ground. For example, they say they are talking about water. They say that yes, Talo Oil drilled some wells, and actually they did also tankering of water in some of the areas around Turkana East and Turkana South where the oil fields are located. But they say that that is not enough. They say that especially when it comes to the tankering, they say that water is being supplied, that the water that is being supplied is just little to them, to their animals and to themselves. So for domestic use. One key pointer, they are saying that the supply of water is being done, like for example, after 3 or 4 days, and they say that the interval is too long, given that they have quite a number of animals, they have quite a number of livestock, and so it's not enough for them. So they're saying yes, Tal Oil has tried, but has the government given them exactly what they need to do in terms of community outreach, in terms of projects that could elevate the livelihoods of the people living around the oil wells? So it's an issue, Sam, as you pointed out, it's an issue that needs to be addressed. It's an issue that they say that until the government tells them exactly, remember you talked about the 5%, they are insisting that until the government tells them exactly how they are going to harvest their 5%, or they are going to get the 5% they have been promised as their share. Because remember, you talked about the fund. They are saying that the fund that is under the county government is not a clear indicator of how they will be reaping from the 5% share that the community is supposed to get. For them, the government has to come out clear how that local, that individual from Lokichar will be able to tap from the resource, the 5%. How will he get? Because they're saying the fund then will be eaten by the county government or the people running the county government. Because they say if it's about development in Turkana County, then it means that the 20%, where will it go? They are asking those questions, that if 20% is already allocated to the county government to ensure development in Lokichar and the entire Turkana County, then where is 5% gonna go? They are saying that 5%, it's meant for the people. It's meant for the common mwananchi in Lokichar, common mwananchi in Turkana County, to at least enjoy what lies underneath his soil or her soil here in Turkana County. So they are very particular with that, and it's an issue that needs much talk between the government and the people of Turkana County. Yes, you talked about 4 years. They're not, actually, when I talk to them, they understand it's going to take long. But what now is the policies that has come out is not clear about them. The policy about sharing of the revenue from the oil fields, they're saying it's not clear to them how they are going to get that 5%. For them, it means, for example, the oil fields are in Lokichar. Then the county government, their headquarters is in Lodwar district or Lodwar, let's say Lodwar town. They say that how will Lokichar benefit directly from the 5%? So to them, it's not about the fund. It's about explaining how they will get that money, how they will be able to share the resources. And you see, another issue that quite probably you didn't mention it, but I'll mention it. It's about the fear of displacement. Locals are fearing that probably once the full production of oil starts, and then there will be lots of development in Lokichar, lots of housing, lots of because the people who will be employed there will need housing, and probably they say that yes, it's a business opportunity, but for the community, the local community, they fear that they're gonna be displaced. Actually, they say that from the initial land that was allocated for the exploration of oil, it was a small size of land, it was a small chunk of land, but now they said that with exploration continuing, they said that too much land has already gone, and they're saying that now it's time for the government to come out clear how and what size will be needed for the full production of oil, and how will they be compensated. So they're saying that the government has been silent or is silent on that, and it's an issue that is being spoken in low tones in Lokichar, but now they're clear. They're saying that the government needs to come out clearly and state how the distribution of land will be, and how, if they will be displaced, and if they will be displaced, how will they be compensated. Sam?
Listening to you speak about Turkana, it appears that the ultimate, or that the real issue is about lack of information for the host community. I would want to understand, because we've seen the county commissioner for that area saying that these issues are politically instigated. What is the governor of that county, Josephat Nok, saying about all this? Enoch, if you can hear me, what I'm asking is, what is the governor for Turkana, Josephat Nanok, saying about all this? Because apparently it appears that the host community lacks information on how all these issues will be addressed.
Thank you, Sam. Indeed, we understand. We haven't talked to the governor yet because he hasn't been in the county. You remember, he was in Marsabit quite recently. He came back, and yesterday they were in a meeting. But we understand that quite, as I told you earlier when we are opening up the discussion here, is that the leaders held a meeting yesterday. And remember, that meeting was being led by the CS for Petroleum, John Munyes, and the governor for Turkana County, Josephat Nanok. But he's yet to come out clearly what his stand is on the same issue. But what I understand is some of the issues that we talked about are some of the issues that have led to a standoff. Remember, the standoff begins with the leaders, and the leaders, if they agree, then the people will agree. But as it is right now, the leaders are yet to agree on the way forward concerning the transportation of oil and the current standoff. So to answer you is that yes, we've heard that there was a meeting, but we haven't understood what entails the governor's stand on the oil issue and the standoff. So just to mention is that the leadership have mentioned quite something that probably they could be meeting before the end of the week to iron out some of the issues. As I told you in the opening statements, the cabinet secretary in charge of Interior was expected here in Turkana County, but he's not coming anytime soon until some of the issues that are there are ironed out, so that he can just come to settle on the issue and assure the people of Turkana County of their security. Remember, they were quite clear that until the issue of security is addressed, then the oil fields will remain blocked.